Bible study, and I mean we're going to open our King James Bibles and read. Turn with me to 2 Samuel chapter 16. This is when David is running to stop a civil war because of Absalom, his son. So we'll pick it up from there. And when David was a little past the hill, the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of asses saddled, and upon them 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And the king said unto Ziba, What meanest thou by these? Question. And Ziba said, The asses are for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. And the king said, And where is thy master's son? Question. And Ziba said unto the king, now Ziba's lying to the king right here.
Okay.
Ziba is telling a lie, but let's go on with it.
All right.
Behold, he abideth at Jerusalem, for he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my fathers. Mephibosheth never said that.
Okay.
We'll see that Ziba was his servant, and he told Ziba to go saddle me an ass because I can go. Because remember, Mephibosheth is crippled in his feet, and
Yeah.
Ziba never went and saddled him an ass to go with David. So,
Okay.
but verse 4. Then said the king to Ziba, Behold, thine are all that pertain to Mephibosheth. Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king. This word Lord is Adonai. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, there came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. Now, we're going to read about Shimei here, and we'll also read about him when Solomon becomes the king. Let's go on with it. He came forth and cursed still as he came. And he cast stones at David and at all of the servants of King David. And all of the people and all of the mighty men were on the right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei, when he cursed, Come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. The Lord hath returned unto thee all of the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned. And the Lord hath, this word Lord is Yahweh, hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, Why should this dead dog curse my lord Adonai the king? Question. Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, What have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord has said unto him, Curse David. Who shall then say, Wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all of his servants, Behold, my son, who came forth out of my bowels, seeketh my life. How much more now may this Benjamite do it? Let him alone and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on my affliction, that the Lord will requite me good for his cursing this day. And David and his men went by the way. Shimei went along on the hillside over against them, and cursed as he went, and threw stones and cast dust. And the king and all of the people that were with him were weary and refreshed themselves there. That verse loses it a little bit. When they came to when they came to this place, this was a place of refreshing for all travelers.
Okay.
It was just a place for refreshment. Okay. We'll go on. And Absalom and all the people of Israel came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. Verse 16. And it came to pass when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come to Absalom, that Hushai said unto Absalom, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said unto Hushai, Is this the kindness to is this thy kindness to thy friend? Question. Why wentest thou not with thy friend? Question. And Hushai said unto Absalom, Nay, but whom the Lord and this people and all of the men of Israel choose, his will I be, and with him will I abide. Now let's remember that in a few verses before this, that Hushai wanted to go with David. Mm-hmm. And David said, you're just going to be a burden to me. Mm-hmm. Return back to Jerusalem and maybe you can defeat the advice of Ahithophel. Yeah. Verse 19. And again, whom shall I serve? Question. Should I not serve in the presence of his son, as I have served in thy father's presence? So will I be in thy presence. Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, Give counsel among you what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Go in unto thy father's concubines, which he hath left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father. And then shall the hands of all of that are with thee be strong. So they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Remember when David and Bathsheba got together? Mm-hmm. And David killed Bathsheba's husband? Mm-hmm. And God came to him and told him, you did this in secret, but I'm going to have one of your neighbors lie with your wives in the sight of this son. This is the fulfillment of God's word right here. Okay. And the counsel of Ahithophel was, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired at the oracle of God. So was all of the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. Chapter 17. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, Let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will rise and pursue after David this night. And I will come upon him while he was weary and weak-handed, and will make him afraid. And all of the people that are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. And I will bring back all of the people unto thee, the man whom thou seekest, as if all return. And all the people shall be in peace. This man has forgotten that David, at the age of 16, faced Goliath. Mm-hmm. He killed bears and lions. Yep. And this man's going to make him afraid? Oh, yeah. I ain't read where David was afraid yet. And the saying pleased Absalom well and all of the elders of Israel. Then said Absalom, Call now Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear likewise what he said. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, Ahithophel hath spoken after this manner. Shall we do after his saying? If not, speak thou. And Hushai said unto Absalom, The counsel that Ahithophel hath given is not good at this time. For said Hushai, Thou knowest thy father and the men that they be mighty men, and they be chafed of their in their minds, as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field. And thy father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people. You think you're going to come up and sneak up on him? Well, not so much.
You can't do it at all.
Behold, this is verse 9, he is hid now in some pit or in some other place. And it will come to pass when some of them be overthrown at the first, that whosoever heareth it will say, there is a slaughter among the people that followed Absalom. And he also that is valiant, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, shall utterly melt, for all Israel knoweth that thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant men. Therefore I counsel that all Israel be generally gathered unto thee from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand is by the sea for multitude, and that thou go to battle in thine own person. So shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew falleth upon the ground, and of him and of all the men that are with him there shall not be left so much as one. Moreover, if he be gotten into the city, then shall all Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it to the river until there be not one small stone found there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For the Lord, who done it? For the Lord, that's Yahweh, had appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, and to the intent that the Lord, Yahweh, might bring evil upon Absalom. So it says it right there. I don't know what it means, but I do know what it says.
Yeah.
Then said Hushai unto Zadok and Abiathar, the priest, thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom, and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all of the people that are with him. David did not want civil war. And verse 17. Now Jonathan and Ahimaaz stayed in Rogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and told King David. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom, but they went both of them away quickly, and came to a man's house in Behurim, which had a well in his court, whither they went down. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth, and spread ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known. In order for these people to make cornbread, they had to crush their corn and make it into cornmeal.
Oh.
So that was not an easy process.
Yes, I can imagine.
Cornbread was a special thing. The Bible calls it bread corn.
Okay.
Verse 20. And when Absalom's servant came to the woman, to the house, they said, where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? Question. And the woman said unto them, they be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass after they were departed that they came up out of the well, and went and told King David, and said to David, arise and pass quickly over the water, for thus hath Ahithophel counseled against you. Now this water is the river Jordan.
Okay.
Then David rose, and all of the people that were with him, and they passed over Jordan by the morning light. There left not one of them that was not gone over Jordan. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose and got him home to his house, to his city, and put his household in order, and hanged himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. Poor little fellow. That's what should happen to every traitor, even in this country today.
Yep.
Then David came to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amashai captain of the host instead of Joab. which Amashai was a man's son, whose name is Ithra, an Israelite that went in to Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister of Zeruiah, Joab's mother. Well, this would make it Joab's cousin. Okay? So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim that Shobai, the son of Nahash of Ramah, of the children of Ammon, and Machir, the son of Amiel and Mael of Lodibar, and Barzillai. Now listen, this word Barzillai, mark this man really well, because he is going to come up in many scriptures following this. Not only that, but his children. Let's just talk about Barzillai right quick. Well, let's go on and cover this, and then we'll come back to it. Then Gilead, the Gileadite of Rogelim. Now let's mark where Barzillai is from. He's from Rogelim. He is a Gileadite. They brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and lentils and parched pulse. Some people call it refried beans, but whatever. And honey and butter and sheep and cheese of kine. This word K-I-N-E is what we call C-O-W. For David and for the people that were with him to eat. For they said, the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. Chapter 18. And David numbered the people that were with him, and set captains over 1,000 and captains over hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part under the hand of Abishai, the son of Ruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai, the Gittite. Mark that he's a Gittite. It will be important later. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us. Neither if half of us die will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou secure us out of the city. And the king said unto them, What seemeth you best, I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all of the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Now first of all, before I finish reading this is why when I went through NCO school, which is non-commissioned officer school, in the Marine Corps, the first thing they taught me was familiarity breeds contempt. The next thing they taught me is don't announce things in front of the troops.
Yeah.
You speak to your leaders in one manner, and you speak to, well, anyway, that's what I'm saying. David did not follow this. Let's read what he did.
Okay.
Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all of the captains charge concerning Absalom. Should have never let all the people hear that.
Yeah.
That should have been to his commanders and to his commanders only.
Yep.
But let's go on. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. There was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. That's a hard battle, but listen to the next verse. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. When you got a bunch of city boys out in the woods, they're in for trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
You better know what you're doing. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule. And the mule went under the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away. Imagine that picture. He got his curly hair, and his curly hair got him up in the tree.
Yeah, he does.
And a certain man saw it and told Joab, saying, Behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, And behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? Question. And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand, yet would I not put forth my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee, and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. David should have never told that where the people could hear it.
Yep, exactly.
Otherwise I should have wrought foolishness against mine own life. For there is no matter hid from the king, and thou thyself would have set thyself against me. Then said Joab, I may not tarry thus with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand, and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. And 10 men that bare Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid a very great heap of stones upon him, and all Israel fled every one to his tent. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar, which is in the King's Dale. This King's Dale you can read about in the 14th chapter of Genesis. For he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place. Absalom did have sons, but none of them are ever named. We do not know their names.
Okay.
But we see how humble old Absalom was. He built his own pillar.
Yeah.
Real humble fella. Then said Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok, let me now run and bear the king tidings, how that the Lord hath avenged him of his enemy. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear tidings this day, but thou shalt bear tidings another day. But this day thou shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. Then said Joab to Cushai, Go and tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushai bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Now Cushai had seen when they had taken Absalom and buried him. Cushai was there. He was part of the burying party. Then said Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok, yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushai. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? Question. But howsoever, said he, let me run. And he said unto him, Run. Then Ahimaaz run by the way of the plain, and overrun Cushai. And David sat between the 2 gates, and the watchman went up to the roof over the gate, unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold, a man running along. And the watchman cried and told the king. And the king said, If he be alone, there's tidings in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman cried unto the porter and said, Behold, another man running along. And the king said, He also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, Methinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. And the king said, He's a good man, and cometh with good tidings. Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord, that's Yahweh, thy God, which hath delivered up the men that lifted up their hand against my Lord, that's Adonai, the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Ahimaaz answered, When Joab sent thy king's servant, and me thy servant, I saw a great tumult, but I knew not what it was. Verse 30. And the king said, Turn aside and stand here. And he turned aside and stood still. And behold, Cushai came. And Cushai said, Tidings, my lord, that's Adonai, the king, for the Lord, that's Yahweh, hath avenged thee this day of all of them that rose up against thee. And the king said unto Cushai, Is the young man Absalom safe? Question. And Cushai answered, The enemies of my lord Adonai, the king, and all that rise against thee, to do thee hurt, be as that young man is. And the king was much moved. Now David is about to make another mistake. Listen, it don't matter who you are. We are supposed to celebrate at death.
Yep.
We're not supposed to moan and cry and whine and woo. The only exception to that is when a mother or father loses their child, because that is abnormal.
Right.
But other than that, when death comes, we are to celebrate.
Yep.
Isaiah chapter 57 says, The righteous perish, and none considereth that God take the righteous out of the way for the evil that's coming.
Yep.
So David is about to make a big mistake here. Let's first read verse 33. And the king was much moved and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept as he went. Thus he said, Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I had died for thee. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son. I can't stand somebody at a funeral that does this.
Yeah.
I can't, it just irritates me to go get out.
Yep, me too.
People need to have a backbone and act like God told them. Celebrate at death.
Exactly. Yep.
God told them to cry at birth.
Yep.
But they put up big signs in their front yard. Hey, little boy's been born.
Yep.
How stupid is that?
Ignorance.
Chapter 19. And it was told Joab, Behold, the king weepeth and mourneth for Absalom. And the victory that day was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard say that day how the king was grieved for his son. These people just went through a battle. And
Yeah.
you can't let them enjoy the victory?
Exactly.
And the people got them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed steal away when they flee in battle. They were acting like cowards. They weren't cowards. They did a wonderful battle.
Exactly.
But the king covered his face, and the king cried with a loud voice, Oh, my son Absalom, oh, Absalom, my son, my son. And people need to take this lesson right here and take it to heart. Because I got news for you. I don't care if you're old or young, we're all going to die.
Yep, exactly.
And Joab came into the house of the king, or to the king, and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all of thy servants, which this day have saved thy life, the lives of thy son, and of thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives, and the lives of thy concubines. If that, in that thou lovest thy enemies, and hatest thy friends. Got it upside down, y'all. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither prince nor servants. For this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived, and all we had died this day, then it had pleased thee well. Now therefore arise, go forth, and speak comfortably unto thy servants. For I swear by the Lord, that's Yahweh, if thou go not forth, there will not tarry one with thee this night, and that will be worse unto thee than all the evil that befell thee from thy youth until now. And the king arose, he listened, David finally got some sense about it, and sat in the gate, and they told unto all the people, saying, Behold, the king doeth sit in the gate. And all the people came before the king, for Israel had fled every man to his tent. And all the people were at strife throughout all of the tribes of Israel, saying, The king saved us out of the hand of our enemies, and he delivered us out of the hand of the Philistines. And now he is fled out of the land for Absalom. And Absalom, whom we appointed over us, is dead in battle. Now, therefore, why speak you not a word to bring the king back? Question. And King David sent to Zadok and to Abiathar the priest, saying, Speak unto the elders of Judah, saying, Why are you the last to bring the king back to his house? Question. Seeing the speech of all Israel is come to the king, even to his house. Ye are my brethren, ye are my bones and my flesh. Wherefore then are ye the last to bring back the king? Question. And say ye to Amashai, Art thou not of my bone and of my flesh? God do show to me more also, if thou be not captain of the host. Before me continually in the room of Joab. And he bowed the heart of all of Judah, even all of the heart as one man, so that they sent this word unto the king, Return thou and all of thy servants. So the king returned and came to Jordan, and Judah came to Gilgal, and to go to meet the king, to conduct the king over Jordan. And Shimei, this, I told you that we'd read about old Shimei. We're going to read about him when Solomon gets here too. And Shimei, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, which was of Behurim, hasted and came down with the men of Judah to meet King David. And there was 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons, and his 20 servants with them. And they went over Jordan before the king. And there went over a ferry boat to carry the king's household, and to do what he thought good. And Shimei, the son of Gera, fell down before the king, as he was come over Jordan, and said unto the king, Let not my lord impute iniquity unto me, neither do thou remember that which thy servant did perversely the day that my lord Adonai, the king, went over out of Jerusalem, that the king should take it to his heart. For thy servant doeth know that I have sinned, therefore, behold, I am come the first this day of all of the house of Joseph, to go down to meet my lord Adonai the king. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, answered and said, Shall not Shimei be put to death for this? Because he cursed the Lord's anointed. And David's going to use wisdom right here. And David said, What have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah, that you should this day be an adversaries unto me? Question. Shall there any man be put to death this day in Israel? Question. For do not I know that I am this day king over Israel? Question. The Bible says it is to the honor of a man to overlook a matter. And that's what David's doing. Therefore the king said unto Shimei, Thou shalt not die. And the king sware unto him. And Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, came down to meet the king, and had neither dressed his feet nor trimmed his beard, nor washed his clothes from the day that the king departed until the day he came again in peace. And it came to pass when he was come to Jerusalem to meet the king, that the king said unto him, Wherefore wentest not thou with me, Mephibosheth? And he answered, My lord, that's Adonai, O king, my servant deceived me. For thy servant said, I will saddle me an ass, that I may ride thereon and go to the king, because thy servant is lame. And he has slandered thy servant unto my lord Adonai the king. But my lord the king is as an angel of God. Do therefore what is good in thy eyes. For all of my father's house were but dead men before my lord the king. Yet didst thou set thy servant among them that did eat at thine own table. What right, therefore, have I yet to cry any more unto the king? Question. And the king said unto him, Why speakest thou any more of thy matters? I have said, Thou and Ziba divide the land. And Mephibosheth said unto the king, Yea, let him take all, for as much as my lord Adonai the king is come again in peace unto his own house. And Barzillai, here we go again. I told you we was going to meet him again, and we're going to meet him still some more. And Barzillai the Gittite came down from Rogelim and went over Jordan with the king to conduct him over Jordan. And Barzillai was a very aged man, even 80 years old. And he had he had provided the king of substance while he lay in Mahanaim, for he was a very great man. This word great man means he was a rich man. And the king said unto Barzillai, Come thou over with me, and I will feed thee with me in Jerusalem. And Barzillai said unto the king, How long have I to live, that I should go with the king unto Jerusalem? Question. I am this day 80 years old, and can I discern between good and evil? Can thy servant taste what I eat, or what I drink? Can I hear any more the voice of the singing men and singing women? Question. Wherefore then should thy servant be yet a burden unto my lord the king? Thy servant will go a little way over Jordan with the king, and why should the king recompense it me with such a reward? Question. Let thy servant, I pray thee, turn back again, that I may die in mine own city, and be buried by the grave of my father and of my mother. But behold thy servant Kimham. Write it down, mark it down, and don't ever lose Kimham's name. Let him go over with my lord the king, and do to him what shall seem good unto thee. And the king answered, Kimham shall go over with me, and I will do to him that which seem good unto thee. And whatsoever thou shalt require of me, that will I do for thee. Now, let's stop just a second. And I want to talk about Kimham. Kimham came to David, and you can just imagine how Kimham was big with the ladies. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want to come and have lunch with the king? Come on, I'm invited to his house every time. Come on, come with me. How did that go? You can see that, can you not?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the children of Barzillai did. And they worked their way in to marrying the Levites' daughters.
Oh.
And when they married the Levites' daughters, they worked them way into being the priest. So much so that when Ezra and Nehemiah came in there, the priest line was polluted. They could not find a pure Levite.
Okay.
So that's why Barzillai and Kimham are so important, because when we get to the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, you're going to see them very prevalently.
Okay.
Verse 39. And all the people went over Jordan, and when the king was come over, the king kissed Barzillai, and blessed him, and he turned unto his own place. Then the king went to Gilgal, and Kimham went on with him. And all of the people of Judah conducted the king, also half the people of Israel. And behold, all of the men of Israel came to the king, and said unto the king, Why have our brethren, the men of Judah, stolen thee away, and have brought the king and his household, and all David's men with him, over Jordan? And all of the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, Because the king is near kin to us. Wherefore then be ye angry for this matter? Question. Have we eaten at all of the king's cost? Question. Or hath he given us any gift? Question. And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah and said, We have 10 parts in the king, and we have also more right in David than ye. Why then did you despise us, that our advice should not be first had in bringing back our king? Question. And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. Chapter 20. And there happened to be a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri, a Benjamite. And he blew the trumpet and said, We have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tent, O Israel. So every man of Israel went up from after David, and followed Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah cleave unto the king from Jordan even to Jerusalem. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, which he had left to keep the house, and put them inward, and fed them, but went not unto them. So they were shut up until the day of their death, living in widowhood. The king knew it wasn't their fault, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't volunteer, so. Verse 4. Then said the king to Amashai, Assemble the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. And Amashai went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, Now shall Sheba, the son of Bichri, do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou thy Lord's servants, and pursue after him, lest he get him fenced cities and escape us. And there went after him Joab's men, and the Cherethites. Now remember, the Cherethites are the executioners, and the Pilathites are the couriers. And all of the mighty men, and they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And when they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amashai went before them, and Joab's garment that he had put on was girt upon him, and upon it a girdle with a sword fastened to his loins, in the sheath thereof. And as he went forth, it fell out. And Joab said to Amashai, Art thou in health, my brother? Question. And Joab took Amashai by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. But Amashai took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand. So he smote him there in the 5th rib, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again. And he died. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And one of Joab's men stood by him and said, He that favoreth Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab. And Amashai wallowed in blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, then he removed Amashai out of the highway into the field and cast a cloth upon him. This is the first time that we have a recorded thing of the dead in battle being covered with a cloth.
Okay.
When he saw that every one that came by him stood still, when he was removed out of the highway, all of the people went on after Joab to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel and to Beth-Mehach, and all the Berites, and they were gathered together and went also after him. And they came and besieged him in Abel of Beth-Mehach, and they cast up a bank against the city, and it stood in the trench, and all of the people that were Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cried a wise woman. This is going to show to you that wisdom, all wisdom comes from God. But let's go with it. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, say I, pray you unto Joab, come near hither, that I may speak with thee. And when he was coming to her, the woman said, Art thou Joab? And he answered, I am he. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of thy handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. Then she spake, saying, They were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Abel. And so they ended the matter. She's saying that my town has always been an honest town. I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. And thou seekest destroy a city and a mother in Israel. Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? Question. Joab answered and said, Far be it from me that I should swallow up or destroy. The matter is not so. But a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri by name, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over the wall. Then the woman went into all of the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and cast it out to Joab. And he blew the trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Now Joab was over all of the host of Israel, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Cherethites, the executioners, and over the Pelethites, the couriers. And Adoram was over the tribute. And Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder. And Sheba was scribe. And Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. And Ithra was also, and Ira also, the Jairite, was a chief ruler about David. Since I'm having trouble pronouncing, we'll leave it there for today. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance on you and give you peace. And I hope you got something out of it.